Good afternoon. So my name is Josie Brightwell, and this is my presentation on validity and reliability. So this is my third take of this today. I've taught 6 classes today, and I filmed this twice on Canva, trying to film over the PowerPoint, and every time I finish, Canva says something happened and it's deleted. So let's hope my YouTube video posts before the deadline. So validity and reliability, I apologize if you can't see. I'll try to also add the PowerPoint. So validity, when looking at validity versus whether it was in the PowerPoints, whatever, the definition that I kept coming back to was that validity is going to refer to our accuracy and trustworthiness of the findings, specifically whether the research truly measures what it claims to measure, and it's ensuring that our conclusions are drawn, I can't even get in here, are drawn from a study that is credible, reliable, and applicable to our intended context. So to me, what this means is we're just really trying to see, our research papers, are they accurate? Are they just a bunch of mumbo jumbo? Or is it coming from somewhere? Do we have a specific place it's coming from to where we can find our legit answers? Let me try to push it back. Maybe I can. Much better. Okay, so there are actually 2 types of validity, and the ones that I found were internal validity and external validity. So our internal validity is going to refer to the extent to which the study design allows for accurate conclusions about the relationship between variables. So we're researching, we see the lines, we see the path it took. Okay, this is what we're looking at. This is what we got. This is how it happened. The relationship between this and that. So external validity. External validity is going to relate to the generalization of our research findings. Is it concerned with whether our study results can be applied to concepts like populations, settings outside specific definitions? So this one, we're looking, okay, we did this research right here, but is it going to work out here? I did it with this group, did it with group A. It worked with group A, but is it going to work with group B? Is it actually going to work? We're not looking for the path, we're just seeing how's it going to work out here. They're just kind of big. So, the interaction effect of selection bias and experimental treatment. So, this is the threat that I'm gonna cry. Apologies. Students don't know how to read the please do not ring the doorbell. I am filming. So, where was I? So, the threat I chose was interaction effect of selection bias and experimental treatments. So, we're looking at a situation in which our characteristics about our participants selected for our study are showing a selection bias. They are biased. Our participants, how we're looking at them. So, how they interact with the treatment being tested, leading to results that may not be generalizable to a broader population. This interaction can compromise that external validity that, okay, it worked in this group, but is it going to work in that group? Okay, some examples that I found. So I chose like 3 different type examples. I chose an educational view, because I'm in education, healthcare, because everybody needs healthcare, and then agriculture practices. So, the educational intervention. Let's think of it as teachers in my school, we are testing a new teaching strategy. But we're only going to test it in our AP and honors classes. We're not doing it in our general ed, college prep. So, these high-level students, they did great with it. So, we're like, let's implement it within the whole school. Then we see our lower level kids, they're not responding to it as well as our higher level kids did. That's because our bias was on our higher level functioning kids. They were our bias. We didn't focus on all, just those and applied to the all. Our health intervention. So, say we have a clinical trial. Testing a new medication for a cancer. Our specific group we're testing, all young people in their 20s. We have amazing results. So, we're going to implement it to all. people of an older age, they start not responding to it as well as our younger population. Back to where I left off. Hopefully I got the help. So, agricultural practices. We have a new farming technique. I am going to take all my technologically advanced farmers. I'm going to have them implement this new strategy. It was amazing. So now I'm going to pass it off to all the farmers. Some farmers don't use the new technologies. They don't have all these investments. So this new farming technology to give us a better crop yield isn't showing the same results it did with the less tech advanced versus the more tech advanced. Okay, the research example I chose. So I chose an article that I've touched on multiple times already in this class, the economic benefits of empowering women in agriculture. Don't really know why I keep coming back to this one. I don't really consider myself a feminist, but I do see how women can be viewed differently in the agricultural industry. I'll say that, like, I've had numerous amount of times where, I mean, not saying it was because I'm a woman, but like a man's like tried to not listen to what I said in an agricultural viewpoint because I was a woman. Like, he knows what he's talking about versus mine. Okay, a little bit of background on my article. So, economic benefits of empowering women in ag is going to explore how increasing women's roles in agriculture can significantly boost economic growth and food security. It's going to highlight that women are going to make up a substantial portion of our new agricultural workforce, but it's often going to face barriers like the limited access to resources, education, markets. So it's addressing these disparities and investing in women's empowerment. Our article is going to argue that economies can see enhanced productivity, improved livelihoods, and stronger community resilience. Overall, empowering women in ag is presenting a vital strategy for achieving our sustainable development. Our participants. So, the article is looking at women farmers who believe in the empowerment of women, agricultural organizations that support women in agriculture, researchers and economists who are looking at the impacts of gender equality in agriculture, then policymakers, so those involved in creating policies to promote women's empowerment in the agricultural sector. So, just looking at our participants, we can see bias. But looking at what our article is actually doing, so the selection of data, it's focusing on all the positive outcomes while ignoring the negative impacts and challenges faced by women who create overly optimistic view. Farming, the language used is emphasizing the benefits of empowerment without discussing the potential drawbacks. Stakeholder representation. If the article is primarily including perspectives from certain organizations, religion, we could be looking over those diverse experiences and challenges faced by women in ag globally. Causation versus correlation. So, the tendency that our empowering women is going to lead to economic growth without looking at all of our other influencing factors. Why did they lead to this growth? It wasn't just the empowerment. And then policy recommendations. So it pushes for specific policies without looking at the potential pitfalls. What could happen if this happens? What happens if this happens? Etc. So, overall, my article, to me, it's very biased. You can see how it is biased. It's because it's all in that female viewpoint. Supporting those women, doing this. To me, this is biased, and this is what I saw with Validity. And I am so sorry for all these distractions throughout this video. Our first week back from the hurricane, children everywhere. I am so sorry. I hope my grade does not reflect the chaos of this.